Hello and welcome to the Sharp 600, brought to you by Covers.com, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Jason Logan. That jolly fella right there, that's not St. Nick, that's Todd Furman. And this is the Week 16 edition of the podcast. Todd, it's only Wednesday, and we've already had a ton of curveballs thrown at us here as NFL bettors. Injury news, injury updates, QB changes, playoff pushes, tankathons, and then let's sprinkle a little bit of winter weather in there as well, too. Is this the most batshit crazy week of football you've seen in a long time?
A lot more variables than we're used to factoring in. I thought bowl season got a little bit squirrely, trying to figure out who may be in, who may be out, but the NFL has more or less said, hold my beer, Jason, as we're trying to figure all of these things out. And the craziest part about it, when you look at the way these marquee games are moving, sides will move with players being upgraded, totals don't budge. It is the definition of banging your head into a brick wall trying to get the best of the number.
Yeah, I did take Kansas City plus 2.5 before the injury updates on Mahomes, putting my faith into the Kansas City defense of all things. Yeah, and then I was like, hey, bonus if he plays, and it sounds like he's going to go as well too. But then we're going to get some cold weather impact, some possible wind and stuff like that, and then we've got the situation in Atlanta. Kind of wanted to pick your brain on that. I mean, it can't get any worse. They just did not trust Kirk Cousins to throw the ball on Monday night. And as someone that had the Drake London over, he seemed to be the only guy that was catching a ball, but he got stuck there at, I think, like 48 or 53. He didn't get over. But, it can't get any worse for the Falcons.
No, that interview with Kirk Cousins after the game as well, he just looked like a defeated and broken man, even in the 15-9 win.
Tell me what felt better, what felt more comfortable tonight?
Lisa, I still am not sharp enough. I didn't feel like I was sharp enough today, accurate enough. I got to be better. But that last drive hopefully can give us a boost going into next week. We can build on that. There's a lot of new, and it takes time. I was pleased with the way we finished tonight, but there's still so much to be better with.
Figured there might be change. It's a little unusual that you go to a rookie at this juncture of the season, knowing that you have the tiebreaker against the Bucs, going to need some help. But I think the Falcons clearly have a ceiling, and Kirk Cousins looks like a shell of himself. But it's exactly what we all drew up a few days before Christmas. The Tim Boyle, Michael Penix showdown, must-see TV down there in Atlanta.
I guess if you're going to kick the tires on the rookie quarterback, you do it against the Giants. This is a good spot to see what he's made out of,
Great
for sure.
point.
Yeah. So before we get going, we asked you got to take a couple seconds, rate and review the Sharp 600 podcast, or like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. We love to hear from you, love to get that feedback, and all of that really helps expand our reach and talk to more sports bettors like yourself. All right, Todd, let's buckle up. It's going to be 600 seconds for a wild Week 16. All right, this is how fast life is moving in the NFL. Todd, you said Tim Boyle was going to get the start for the Giants in our intro, which we recorded just minutes ago. What's the update now?
Yeah, it's not even minutes, it's seconds. It's official that Drew Lock will be back under center for the New York Giants. So I guess what they must have decided in the front office, you know what? Tim Boyle might give us a puncher's chance. Let's handcuff ourselves even further. We're going back to Drew Lock, but the market hasn't blinked. Still 8.5 to 9, pretty much across the board.
Tankathon time. Giants far from perfect. No team is perfect right now. Even the top-tier Super Bowl contenders all have their weaknesses. Todd, let's poke the soft spot when it comes to those Super Bowl contenders and potential playoff matchups. Let me know what bettors should worry about more when it comes to these teams. So let's take the Lions. Let's take the Eagles. Should we worry about the Lions' injuries more, or we should worry about Nick Sirianni and the Eagles head coach more?
I definitely think we should be more worried about the Lions defensively. 15, 16 players on that stop unit now on IR. The one thing that Nick Sirianni can lean on, he at least has a good offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore and a veteran defensive coordinator. So when we say talent trumps all, I think the Eagles will be able to persevere even in the headwinds that are provided by their head coach. The Lions, unfortunately, people in Motown aren't allowed nice things.
Oh, and the Montgomery injury, definitely a big shot to their red zone offense as well, too. And you're going to need those points, especially if the defense isn't showing up. The Chiefs' close calls or the Bills' pass defense? What should bettors be more worried about?
Maybe a little bit of silver lining that the Bills' pass defense can get healthier. They weren't on full display last weekend against the Lions. And I know people will point to, Patrick Mahomes just has a knack and a way. Well, you can only live on the razor's edge for so long in one-score games. So I worry that the Chiefs' inability to create separation will be their Achilles heel. And maybe we get a different representative from the AFC playing for the Lombardi Trophy.
All right. I bet on Kansas City last week -4. I felt like the market had overreacted to where they were and not covering spreads. I feel like that was kind of the stiff cup of coffee. I feel like they're going to start to pick up momentum here and get their playoff mindset right. So I'd be more worried about the Bills in my opinion. Vikes QB Sam Darnold or the Bucs validity? What should bettors be worried about more here?
I think, the Bucs validity has me a little bit more concerned, only because this is a group that defensively doesn't check a lot of boxes for me, and they're beating up against inferior foes. My real fear for Tampa in terms of their overall ceiling, when they step up in class, they may get smacked back down. Yes, Sam Darnold, not exactly a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do have faith and confidence in KOC.
All right. I will say the Bucs have been able to pull a couple upsets off in the postseason. You better hope your Eagles don't run into them again there, Dell. They have a bad track record against Tampa Bay. Final one here. The Texans' offense or the Steelers' inconsistency. What should bettors be worried about more?
Yeah, the Texans' offense is a little bit problematic. I mean, all of the buzz about Bobby Slowick being one of the head coaching candidates for this coaching carousel, but the offensive line has let me down. They forget that they have a plus passing game. I think this Texans offense that we thought was going to be a strength coming into the year in C.J. Stroud's sophomore season is what holds them back. The Steelers are who we thought they are. Inconsistent is the perfect word to describe what we get from them offensively on a week-in, week-out basis.
I will say the Steelers look like they're going to back into the postseason, which is never a good thing.
Which is pretty much the most Steeler thing to do, as we've seen over the years, right?
And a team that's played with fire all season, too. Come up on the right side of a lot of those close games. The coin flip might, land the other way here in the last few games. Todd, we're in the final 3 games of the year, and that means booking vacations for January 6th, that Monday after Week 18. Now, not all terrible teams are tanking, and not all crappy teams are quitting. Let me know if these bottom feeders have a can-do attitude or a Cancun attitude in the final weeks of the season here. How about the Carolina Panthers?
Can do for the Carolina Panthers. Yes, they stubbed their toe and then some against the Cowboys, but I think Bryce Young knows he's fighting for work, and Dave Canales still has the ear of a young team. Can-do attitude in Charlotte for the Panthers.
All right, I got a feeling this one's going to be different. Chicago Bears. Is this Cancun or can-do?
This is very much Cancun, a team in complete disarray. Not sure what the head coaching situation will look like. The body language for the offensive and defensive players haven't been good. They could probably book their vacation already because even if they don't show up the next few weeks, they'll enjoy their time on the beach in Mexico.
All right. This next team I'm invested in this week in one of their game. They're in their game here, but maybe not on them. Miami Dolphins. Cancun or can-do?
This is probably the most polarizing of the 3 teams that we've done so far. So can we go like Puerto Vallarta instead of Cancun, can-do, and kind of split the difference? But I'll say they're more on the Cancun side, but they do get a team that may also be in Cancun mode in the 49ers on Sunday.
All right, and let's jump ahead here. We're going to go to Thursday Night Football. A big game in the AFC playoff race here. We've got the Chargers and the Broncos meeting in SoFi. What do you like in this game? Any leans, any analysis for this one?
We worried a little bit about this Chargers defense being a paper tiger, and that has come home to roost recently with some real struggles as they've stepped up in class. This is a Chargers offense that wasn't able to run the ball last week against the Bucs. Justin Herbert, extremely limited. And I'd be looking to try and bet Herbert under his passing yardage number. It's not something that I love because it is a little bit suppressed, but I think if the Chargers are going to have success in this game against Denver, they have to find a way to run the ball and can't lean on Justin Herbert entirely.
Okay, I can see that, and I'll do you one better. How about this? How about we take Justin Herbert to throw an interception? That prop at FanDuel is the yes-no prop market. It's plus 112 right now, and Herbert was picked off last week, first time in a long time. But we've seen this guy have cluster INTs throughout his career. He just has a span of bad games. He's also nursing that bum ankle. He's going to be limited. on a short week, and we've got a high-pressure Broncos defense that is dangerous, snatching the 4th most interceptions this season. The Broncos almost exclusively play man coverage in that Vance Joseph scheme, and that's something that Herbert has struggled against this season. He owns the 23rd best passer rating versus man. Going to be plenty of 3rd and long situations, and that's also a spot in which Herbert has struggled. 3rd down, so I think he's going to be passing with pressure, some hurried throws. One little oopsie is paying plus 112 on the INT market there for Herbert this Thursday night. All right, touchdown anytime for Week 16. Todd, I'm going to get started. I got 6 letters for you. It's CDTDAT. It's CD Lamb plus 115 to score a touchdown anytime here in Week 16. He's scored touchdowns in back-to-back games coming into Sunday Night Football in a game that smells like a shootout to me. Lamb 17 red zone targets, 8th most amongst all wide receivers, and he doesn't have to be inside that 20-yard line to score either. This is a Tampa defense that's allowed a lot of home run balls. I think that's going to be compounded by some safety injuries. CD Lamb, touchdown anytime.
It is definitely a banged-up defensive backfield for the Bucs, but I will see your CD anytime touchdown and raise you with his counterpart on the other line of scrimmage, that being Mike Evans, who is playing at a high level. Baker Mayfield getting the ball to his wide receiver 1 in space with regularity. And you mentioned being able to score inside the red zone, being able to score from distance. We know this Cowboys secondary only a few short weeks ago struggled immensely to slow down the likes of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Mike Evans, anytime touchdown at plus 110.
All right, it's 2 minutes real time, Todd, and that means our best bets for Week 16. I'll get the ball rolling. I'm going San Francisco 49ers plus 1.5. The spread ranging from pick to plus 1 to plus 1.5. We've got the Master versus Padawan matchup between Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel. And the last time these two guys met, it was the Brock Purdy coming out party. And Brock Purdy, exceptional versus zone, and that is something that the Dolphins play a lot of. The Niners about as healthy as they're going to get here. Coming off the mini-bye, a weird game on Thursday night. I think their defense is going to get the job done. I like them, plus 1.5.
We did Cancun can-do earlier in the program. It was a bit of a teaser, and I expect the can-do attitude from the Carolina Panthers as home underdogs. I'll back them plus 4.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. And look, this is a role much more familiar and comfortable for Carolina than how we saw last week when they were laying the short number against the Cowboys, breaking a streak of 30-plus games where they had been listed as a dog. Arizona could get caught looking ahead to a massive showdown against the Rams next week, and I just get the feeling this is a field goal game either way. Give me Carolina plus the points.
All right, I'm getting a little tricky here. I'm going to go Baltimore double result, minus 115. Also known as the first half full game odds. So Baltimore has to win the first half.
Full soccer podcast now, apparently.
That's right. We're going to play the Asian handicap. No. But the Steelers in a nasty schedule spot here. Back-to-back road games on a short week. It's their 4th road game in 5 weeks. And then they just played 40 minutes worth of defense in that one-sided loss to the Eagles. Now you got to take on the Ravens, who are going to run you into the turf. Baltimore, one of the best first half teams. I like them to win the first half, win the second half. Minus 115.
J-Lo, if I didn't have bad luck this season in the NFL, I've had no luck at all. I went first half under last week between the Eagles and Steelers. Full game comes in under. So you know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to go full game under with the Eagles and Commanders, which means you should double down on the first half coming in under. But I think A.J. Brown's status very much up in the air. And while the Eagles were able to accumulate passing yards, there wasn't much in the vertical passing game that I saw that left me brimming with confidence. The Commanders taking on water offensively, and the addition of Marshawn Lattimore helps that secondary. Points at a premium in the NFC East matchup.
Love Wonders. All right, that is the horn on this 600 seconds and Week 16. A big thank you to Dell behind the scenes. Todd, a big thank you to you. Big thanks to FanDuel Sportsbook. And, of course, a big thank you to you for tuning in each and every week. Reminder, rate, review, like, subscribe to Sharp 600 when you get a second. We appreciate that. A quick note, next week due to the holiday, we'll be going Thursday, December 26th. But keep an eye on the cover socials because we will have picks for the Christmas Day action from Todd and myself. And speaking of Todd, put a nice bow on this Week 16. Give us some words of wisdom, brother.
You know what I'll say, J-Lo, is it's nice to work with a consummate professional with you and Dell behind the scenes because unlike Jonathan Taylor that cost me the Colts bet last week, Dell never drops the ball prematurely. So we invent ways to try and get you to the window or lack thereof, but appreciate all the loyal viewers that have stuck with us through thick and thin. And this is the weekend that we turn it all around just in time for the holiday season.
That's right. We'll get some more of those TD anytime scores, man. We hit both of them there last week.
At least Anthony Richardson got home. It was the salve in an otherwise open wound last weekend.
That's what we get for betting on the AFC South. We should have got out of this a long time ago. All right, we will talk to you next Thursday. Until then, best of luck with your bets and happy holidays. Hey, NFL fans, you can make every moment more this season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Never waste a hunch at FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in select states or 18 plus and present in D.C. First online real money wager, only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets will expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.